last week, my buddies Frank and Brian hosted the RE Source. I was in Alaska, so they stepped in and did an awesome job. They're very busy guys, so it means a lot when they can take some time and step in for the RE Source Nation. Very much appreciated. Thank you guys. So they brought up a huge story in my opinion, and it's one that we have been suspecting might happen for quite some time. See, I thought for a while now that FHA and the GSEs needed to amend their guidelines to allow for some provisions for folks that happen to fall in hard times during the recent recession and happen to lose their house. And wouldn't you know it, FHA did just that. Now let me tell you why this is big news if you guys haven't figured it out already. Realtors and LOs, how many people do you know right now off the top of your head that lost a home due to short sale or foreclosure a few years ago, but you know they've rebuilt their credit, they make good money and could easily afford to buy a new home, but have been prohibited to do so due to lender waiting periods? A ton, right? I mean really, most of you could rattle off at least 10 names right now, and if you thought about it for another minute, you could probably come up with several more. This, in my opinion, is the biggest news we have had all summer. With lending guidelines getting tighter, FHA comes out and actually gets looser with the guideline. Crazy, but a smart move in my opinion. After all, most of these folks are sitting on a 700 plus credit score and make some really good money. They shouldn't be stuck on the sideline renting, they should be back in the game if they so choose. Several of them aren't repeat offenders. For most of them, the original short sale or foreclosure is the only negative mark in their entire lives. Does that make them dirt sticks? No. They just fell on hard times like the rest of the world. They aren't bad people, they just had a bad event happen during a very rough time in this nation's history. So let's get into the details and learn how these guys can get back into the game. Guys, this is huge and this should be shared with your entire sphere of influence. I mean, share. Finally, some good news to share. So go share it. Okay, here we go. Let's figure this out. First off, FHA says it's continuing its commitment to fully evaluate borrowers who have experienced periods of financial difficulty due to extenuating circumstances. They go on to explain their overall thought process with their new approach. FHA says as a result of the recent recession, many borrowers who experienced unemployment or other severe reductions in income were unable to make their monthly mortgage payments, and ultimately they lost their homes due to pre-foreclosure sale, deed in lieu, or foreclosure. Some borrowers were forced to file for bankruptcy to discharge or restructure their debt. Because of these recent recession-related periods of financial difficulty, the borrower's credit has been negatively affected. Now, FHA recognizes the hardship faced by these borrowers and realizes that their credit history may not fully reflect their true ability to repay a mortgage. In other words, FHA gets it. Guidelines were too tight, now they're going to loosen them and try to help these guys out. But who fits the mold? Well, let's take a look. Borrowers who have experienced an economic event and can document certain credit impairments were the result of loss of employment or significant loss of household income beyond the borrower's control. 2, the borrower has demonstrated full recovery from the said event. And 3, the borrower has completed housing counseling. Now, FHA explains economic event as any occurrence beyond the borrower's control that resulted in a loss of employment, loss of income, or a combination of both, which causes a reduction in the borrower's household income of 20% or more for a period of at least 6 months. That's the big one right there. FHA says the borrowers need to be recovered from said event, recovering being defined as the reestablishment of satisfactory credit for a minimum of 12 months. As for their credit, FHA says they need to be clear of any late housing or installment debt payments and any major derogatory credit issues or revolving accounts, and any open mortgages, they need to be paid on time for at least 12 months. Now, these are some pretty clear and concise guidelines that FHA released last week. If I were you, I would download the link that we are making available again, learn the new lenient guidelines and understand whom they can help, and then start spreading the good word to these folks. After all, if you don't, I promise you, someone else will. There's some new blood coming into real estate, and these guys are very, very hungry. They will pound the pavement and spread the good word, and they may just get to your clients before you do, so don't let that happen. This is good news. Spread it and go help a family purchase or finance a home again. Now, something new before we leave, a poll question. What is the most effective way to share this good news? A Facebook post, an email or a mailer campaign, or sharing today's show? Let us know down below, and we'll see you guys next week.